Jungle ban priority remaining relatively the same. Vladimir as well taken off the table. So far, exactly the same from what we saw last time.
Some tense background music, really painting the picture. Strong champions being banned out.
This is really intense. I've never noticed the music until you pointed it out.
Yeah,
I'm always so focused on like what's happening on the screen.
Once you're in an arena and you're doing like an analyst test segment, this music is just like hypes you up. Gets you ready for the game.
I wonder if they get it in their headsets too. If they're feeling it. They're feeling the pressure.
They hear a wealth of white noise.
Oh, sad boys. Of course, Ryze banned out as well. Incredibly powerful pick.
Yeah, Ryze. It seems like everybody thinks it's strong, but nobody wants to play it. It's like, no, we'll ban it. No. We shall ban it for you.
Yeah. We'll take a turn banning it.
Yeah.
And no one wants to play against it, but everyone's kind of nervous about busting it out here.
Yeah. As we stand slightly on the wrong marks, we had to remake the lobby because we were leaning into the screen. So
we're like looking at the...
players were in the wrong order. We figured it out halfway through Champ Select. And
we're doing good.
Yeah. We're remaking the lobby right now. Because obviously, top jungle, mid, AD carry support.
Very important. For us, for the audience, visually, everything just gets much easier.
Don't want my stability kind of thrown off, you know. I like my patterns.
You're not going to know where to look.
No. Who is this guy? Hybrid, the new AD carry. Actually, good work because Forgiven practices a lot of support overall.
I don't think that's what's going to happen today. I would love to see it. Probably not in the LCS.
Imagine if you're the AD carry. You're an import. You know, you come to Europe and your support all of a sudden is Forgiven, and everything you do is just like.
It's just the click of the tongue and the sigh every time.
It's like, nah, missed that CS. No, should have traded here.
I feel like he might be a little bit more vocal than a tongue click, though.
No, actually, when Forgiven likes you, he's actually very nice. People have this notion that Forgiven's always mean, but like I've played a lot of games with him. I've done some stupid stuff. Yeah, I would literally walk into the enemy jungle, die warding, and I'd be like, yo guys, you know what? My bad. I wasn't thinking. I'm just a retired support player. And Forgiven's like, no. Our mid and top have no pressure. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I literally walked in, died. I saw the jungler, didn't back off, still died. And it's like, no, Crepo, it's not your fault. Mid and top have no pressure.
That's the level of spin I expect from my true friends. Yeah. Just like, no, you're doing great. It's definitely not. It's totally your fault, but it's definitely not.
It's everybody else's fault.
Everyone
but
else.
Me.
They didn't expect you to play that way. You know, they didn't back you up. They weren't ready to TP in just to save you.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of when you miss a hook. It's like, if this guy was good, he would have dodged into my hook. That's actually true, but sadly never really happens.
That's like the mental metagame between ELOs.
We're seeing a little bit of contrast here for people that obviously can't see the lobby. Origen is slowly moving in and out of the lobby. It's going to be a remake again. Unicorns of Love, though, already in the right order, so team synergy on their side is definitely on point.
Yeah, communication issues aside, language barriers on side, top to bottom, they've got the right order. So
yeah, and obviously for people wondering, we go for the same pick and bans that we saw on the screen. Then we'll continue from there. No need to remake everything because we were so not so far into the pick and ban so far.
Yep, just of course the 3 bans coming out: Nidalee, Vladimir, and Ryze. Moving forward, waiting for that 4th ban. It's just an extended pick ban phase. That's what the best way to look at it.
Timeout. Is this what we do right now when we bring in these like American casters? Get some of those.
No, you don't understand. Americans, we need intermediate breaks in our sports, just all the time. Football, 30 seconds, we're done.
You run for 45 minutes at a time. No. Timeout.
No football. American football. Stop and go. Stop and go.
Oh yeah, soccer.
Yeah, I'm trying not to.
That word is banned on this broadcast, just so you know.
I feel like there's not a bigger faux pas I can make as an American than referring to football as soccer.
Faux pas.
Faux pas, you like that?
I like it. It's very.
I'm trying to show that I'm cultured because I will inevitably say soccer on the broadcast. I want someone to be like, but he did use faux pas that one time, so he is at least a little bit educated.
This new caster is literate. Surprise.
We've never had that before.
Hey man, I do my best, okay? I just think that was an accident I'm trying to get rid of.
Doing good. You do more intensive vocal warm-ups than I do.
We're doing well.
We're doing well. Oh, God.
That man does good. We do well here on the desk. I
just got the grammatic burn here on the desk.
Still in the lobby, guys.
Living the dream.
Yeah. Delaying the inevitable, which is going to be the game of the season. Truly. That's why we're building up the hype here. It's all in a script.
We actually wrote all these terrible jokes.
Yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst part.
Somebody
We planned
actually
this.
was paid to write this material.
But here we are. We're back in pick bans. Fans gonna come out pretty quick here to start. Crowd, I completely agree with you. I'm excited about this. Rise banned out as well. Now to the fourth ban. It's the one we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Surprise. It's Braum.
Coming out. Don't want to give it to Hybrid. No, they're not going to get it for Hylissang.
Do they have room for the Bard ban here? That's what we're wanting for Unicorn. So under the assumption that that's their final ban, and Origen know this, are they looking for a Kindred first pick? They got it in Series 1, or in Game 1 rather, of this series, but they didn't really manage to put it to use.
And after Move's disappointing performance on the Kindred over 2 games on day 1, I don't know if it can realistically be your priority in pick bans, because yes, you're getting something for yourself, but you're not taking anything away.
This is what we would have gone into if they took more time talking. The Trundle ban, I like it, because that's it. Otherwise, Origen was kind of forced to pick the Trundle ban on their own right now. They could actually go for an Ekko early pick, and then we need to see Vizicsacsi come out with a different answer. If not, he may be pressured in the early game by SoaZ, and more pressure means more leeway and more room to operate in if you're the jungler. And then maybe Amazing can just go for camp the SoaZ strategy. XpeKe can hold his own in the mid lane against Exile if it's not a terrible matchup. And then maybe that's a little bit easier for Origen.
Fizz coming out, of course, a very successful pick for SoaZ in Game 2 yesterday. Despite their loss, still had a fabulous scoreline at the end of the game.
I mean, this is where we maybe would have expected a Kindred, but due to how the games played out, and as you mentioned as well, Move's performance on it, we may just see an Ekko lock in here very early. Bard is also open. You see if Hybrid just is challenging. It seems like, no guys, I need the comfort pick. I will do the job. So a lot of picks here, and Unicorns are obviously going to take the rest. What Origen doesn't pick up here in first rotation, Unicorns is going to try and steal that.
And this is such a rough spot for OG to be, because as we said, there's so many power picks left on the board due to all these target bans, and at the end of the day, Kindred is going to be the priority for Origen and for Amazing in the jungle.
Yeah, and this is where we need to see, can Hylissang play that Bard? Because you need to kind of pick it up if your bluff gets called. He thinks so, at least.
Yeah, moving in, of course, Hylissang going to lock that in, as well as the Caitlyn coming in for Veritas in the bottom lane, taken away from Forgiven,
this
Bard
time
taken away from Hybrid.
This time not banned out, but just taken away. So really targeting the bot lane here from Origen, the new members, putting them in awkward positions. Forgiven could go for another Lucian pick, but it's incredibly rough to lane. You cannot play. If you get ahead once, though, with Lucian into Caitlyn, then you can spike, get an AD advantage, and then the culling is enough to win these trades. You just dash in, get a culling in Caitlyn's face, and range advantage is suddenly gone.
You tell a story about getting ahead. Forgiven, never a man to back down from the challenge. They're happy to try to get ahead in that bottom lane, and will in the end pick up the Lucian. And SoaZ, it's his favorite pick. He loves it. Every time it's open, he wants to play it. It's going to be that Maokai in the top lane. So far, very solid roster coming in from OG.
Yeah, I like this. They just need a little bit more forward pressure, something they can also put on side lanes right now. Coming from mid, maybe have something that they can play on the side lane later on. Otherwise, they're opting into very heavy team fight. But so far, they're looking at a strong core, as we said. Kindred, Maokai, Lucian, incredibly strong team fight core.
Yep, definitely.
Unicorns, again, more picks,
Yeah, exactly. The Elise coming in for Move. We saw a stellar performance from him in Game 1. Now potentially saving this final pick from Exile. We have to assume the Ekko's going into the mid lane, even though we have seen a few, or top lane rather, even though we have seen a few mid lane Ekko games. And OG, quick final rotation here. Going to pick up the Alistar, as well as the Azir for XpeKe in the mid lane.
XpeKe blind Azir. That's bold, because we've seen XpeKe's Azir in the past, and it sometimes left things to be desired. But still a very strong pick on this patch. Coming into the season, we thought Rise Azir tier 1, Rise out, definitely pick up the Azir. We saw this head hover earlier as a counter pick. Fizz is out as a counter pick too. Worst case though, we can see the Unicorns just pick up Victor. But the problem is there's too much dive if you're playing Victor right now, the Unicorns. So if you ever, if you not get ahead, then you're gonna have issues. So they're taking a different approach where they say, you know what, guys, we know it. Snowball in the early game, or we will get out team fight.
I think rinse and repeat here at the end of the day from what this composition wants to do. You've got the Elise, you've got to support with some nice CC setups.
Lane swap is going to be paramount. Origen need to get out of that Maokai Ekko matchup and out of the Alistar Lucian matchup, because Caitlyn Bard will murder that 2v2. It's almost impossible to not win that matchup by like 10 or 20 CS, because it's so straightforward to play. Like, you just hit whatever champion steps up closest, you hit. Eventually Alistar runs out of potions. Bard has infinite sustain because he doesn't get all in really, especially not with exhaust. If he goes out of mana, he just takes a Chime Tour, comes back 4 or 5 times, is 60% of his mana nearly, so then he comes back into lane and he's good again.
Yeah, looking at the way the compositions have unfolded, a lot of power, a lot more focused composition it feels like, and well-rounded coming from Origen, but still some huge weaknesses here between the melee support and the Maokai.
Yes, but at least they have targeted CC to maybe come back into the game, make some picks of their own, or at least force some fights. Last game, they couldn't really force anything. They were at the mercy of a mistake of the Unicorns. Right now, they have their own fate in their hands.
But you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Tweet at LOL Esports, hashtag OG win, or hashtag UOL win. I have a lot more confidence in UOL this time around, or maybe you're staying true to Origen and you know they can tie this series up 1-1.
There's just so many cool interactions that can happen in this game. Whether it's the combos that Origen can procure in the mid to late game team fights, you know, with the Azir ultimate and all the knockups and Maokai connecting. Or at the other side, if you look what you can do with Bard ultimate into parallel convergence. You have Exile making picks, Cocoon into Bard stun portals. There is so much room for outplay if Unicorns are playing in synergy.
Something that we're going to have to see.
The Oricorns.
It feels very even in the crowd. Unicorns a love fan. A little bit louder this time around after that first game win. OG fighting back with fan cheers of their own. And it looks like the lanes evenly matched up so far. No one moving for the lane swap quite yet. Yeah. The next minute is going to be massive for deciding the fate of these lanes as Chachi fearlessly running in for a trade. At the end of the day, it's the nerf bat fight though. Not going to see a whole lot of damage going down.
I think we saw a grass proc there from Vizicsacsi. Need to wait until we see what masteries is exactly ran later on. Because we've seen some Echoes go for Storm Raiders. Yeah. You know, go and get super speed, operate in these fights. As opposed to the Grasp or the lane harass, because it got some nerfs overall.
Yeah, a little bit tougher to sustain in that lane, especially against the Sap Magic passive coming in from Maokai. This is what you're talking about. This is what we were scared of. 2v2 matchup in the bottom lane, 1v1 in the top. This standard lane's potentially disastrous here for Origen.
I want to see how Forgiven plays that, because yesterday Forgiven was also stuck in a bad 2v2 matchup, and he called amazing for a lane gank, and we saw Hybrid Q flashing on Alistar, go for a super aggressive play on Mythi's Tahm Kench, but Mythi's jungler Trick was in the brush, they got countered, and they lost the entire early game off that play, because they needed saving from a bad matchup.
Definitely could be a rough road. As you mentioned, Grasp the Undying coming out in the top lane. Not going to be the Storm Raiders surge. I think the bot lane is something we're going to have to watch. You can see how forward Caitlyn is already playing on your mini-map as the mid laners just continue to trade this one out. And Hylissang, that Pard level 1, man, that's so much damage.
Right now, if they keep playing here, they can do this for literally forever. If they have the cojones to do that. You can proxy your minion wave, and you can deny experience if you play this lane this far up. The only counter to this is level 2 gank. They can literally keep walking up in bot lane, Caitlyn Bard. And just challenge CS. So Forgiven, we'll need to see how well can he farm and how well can Veritas manage his wave.
Amazing moving down. Maybe he knows that this is the best option. Cosmic Binding not going to land, but Amazing just moving straight down to the red buff, giving up on clearing out those wolves.
Bad trade from Veritas. Obviously, Hylissang is going to ward the brush. He's actually going to invade instead of warding Tri-Brush and maybe getting dashed over the Dragon Pit. He's now just invading the enemy jungle. This does leave Forgiven room to farm though. It's a bold move here by Hylissang. Not sure if I agree completely.
Yep, Smite just comes out. Kindred just going to walk away from that one. Too much mobility already. Starting to get aggressive here, actually.
Oh, he can die here. He has a flash, probably.
Hylissang, flash goes through, following through the journey, is going to be able to get nothing. The flash burned over the wall. Amazing, still hungry for blood, though. Aggro's the dragon. Knockback. Great play.
Flash combo coming in.
Oh, goes in as predicted. First blood. Exile trading one back, but has he overstayed his welcome? Is going to try to deceive. Making his way out of here, has the double buffs at the end of the day, running for his life. Hybrid just waiting for the combo, hoping to get a little bit more. Here comes Moo. No, Hybrid gonna snag that one. 2 for 1 in the end, barely picking that one up.
I love it. I actually want to know if Hybrid, I talked about him earlier today. I was like, why didn't you go for the WQ flash yesterday? He was like, it's actually a great idea. I actually want to know, I'm gonna ask him later if I helped him with that kill.
Oh no, caster bias.
Caster bias. No, that's actually a beautifully executed play here, and we have to go back. I think that was a poor decision from Hylissang. When the strength of your lane is in denying CS in bot lane, like look, he goes for the portal level 2 and it gives him some safety, but Hybrid's already moving away here, collapsing and trying to help Amazing here. And look what he does. W to Scuttle Crab for Taxi, Q flash after. Such a beautiful combo here. And then finishes him off. Instant exhaust on Exile slows him down enough. And Hybrid then at the end also has the presence of mind of knowing that one W is enough to finish him off, because Exile has to have his W like nearly ready right here. So close.
Into the cocoon too, doesn't cancel the animation or the damage coming in, so a game of inches there in that exchange to pull it out in the favor of OG. And now double buff Alistar, heals on Lucian. This feels like the setup that Forgiven wanted.
Yeah, and more so Forgiven didn't get denied the very crucial early levels, and he can now Q farm all over, because Caitlyn 1v1 can't deny Lucian very well because he can always dash forward. It's the combined strength of ranged support into melee that wins that trade. Right now we see Veritas getting punished for an aggressive dash.
Exile
showing up,
moving in, tries to get something, but he's gonna have to back off there in the end. Amazing, maybe with a little bit more mana would have pushed it, but luckily the mobility of LeBlanc keeping Exile alive. But this is a very different mid lane from what we saw in the previous game. Exile not getting nearly as many opportunities to make the plays.
And now move, that's what we were talking about. When you're pushed in yourself and you have some vision against you.
Oh,
he goes for the flash cocoon. Exile's
very
coming.
Aggressive. Maybe looking for the change. Fails to predict. Amazing. Not going to be able to make it up in the air. UOL fighting back in the early game.
I like it. He knows that if he walks up, maybe Amazing's not paying attention to get the kill. But again, aggressive flash here from Move. This is what we need to see more from him. Just leaving no room for outplay of Amazing. Yeah, fantastic combo. Unicorns, I like the decisiveness that they put into these ganks really overall. Playing together as a team. Exile was already pathing down, so that was definitely communicated and shock called.
Yeah, overall, and I mean, despite language barriers, I don't know what it is for this team, but things are working out. Move, maybe with his time in NA. Feeling pretty comfortable communicating in English on the team, but the coordination coming out for such a young team, very impressive. And Origen, they're making moves of their own. They're collapsing pretty well, but once again, just staying even at this point is you all have a small gold lead, but nothing too much to talk about.
Yeah, now the mid lane matchup is kind of reduced to we need junglers to win it because we'll never solo kill each other. Double Negatron Cloak in the mirror, so we need a jungler to kind of help there. XpeKe has CS advantage though. Genius poke.
Yeah, you can see laning trading significantly less popular.
XpeKe getting old.
Maybe missed a CS there, but still a pretty sizable lead over Exile in the end. 52 to 33 for XpeKe. 20 CS lead, only 6 minutes into the game. Exile trying to get some damage though. PeKe dash forward is going to get snared in the end. Good trade there, but Amazing here to back up, and Hylissang just going to have to walk away. Doesn't want to bite off more than he can chew. And
Hylissang desperately needs some levels right now. Bard needs level 6 before he can actually do some solid roams, because you need access to that ultimate. If you cast it on a flashless Azir, it's also super easy to hit. Get back to that later though. A bit of a top lane skirmish here. SoaZ comes out on top at the end of the day with the trade, using his ultimate there. SoaZ learned yesterday not to flash W and Ekko. Kiki's taught him that lesson. When I was a Fizz Rodder.
Learned it the hard way.
Don't dash into tower range. Nope.
Where you want to be. XpeKe taking a lot of damage though. Negatron Cloak keeping him relatively safe. Move. Has to clear out the pink ward there. Doesn't have an opportunity to jump in. Still no flash available. Tank fight.
Yeah.
We're just trading blows here.
Is Vizicsacsi using his ulti to get back into the lane too? See, he's just on cooldown because he was back there quick with full health. That usually means that ultimate.
Just Ekko thing. Of course, has the Dark Seal as well as the Corrupting Potion here, so pretty easy for him to sustain up, especially with multiple ways to get back to the lane quickly. Exile taking control of the wave. Still behind about 10 CS, but starting to recoup some of the early losses. And Hybrid looking to make a play. Headbutt, pulverize, exhaust, Exile. Where are you gonna go? Moving back into his jungler. Move exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah, really bold move here from Hybrid. To actually go for that flash combo. Could have just gotten completely dodged by a W from Exile. Didn't really respect him though.
Oh, Unicorns are on the way in. Turns his sights on XpeKe. Wasn't expecting that one. Chachi looking to grab the kill. Execution. Lamb's respite. It's a little bit too late. Exile maybe hoping to make his way back in. And Amazing is going to drop as well. Hylissang running forward to block off Hybrid. Oh. He's going to get the stun. Scuttle Crab, the MVP of this game. May have worked for Hybrid once, but this time works for Hylissang. This is going to be a long, slow goodbye for Hybrid. Moving forward, stun goes down. Chachi grabs another kill. 5-2 now the score overall. Yeah, the Scuttle Crab family combined 2 assists right now. Tied everybody in the game. First the minion taxi there into Q flash from Hybrid rather, and now Hylissang with the combo. Really good presence of mind to keep track of that.
little bugger. Obviously, pretty slow moving.
Calculated, we can safely say.
Let's see how exactly. So Vizicsacsi with the bait, stuns Hybrid, and then turns to XpeKe, and then the fact that this chain lands is actually pretty impressive from Exile.
Yeah,
and he gets to jump back.
Weaving it through, hitting the targets. They are just going to burn down amazing. And like at this point, I mean, the stun comes out. This is the point where SoaZ goes, okay, never mind.
Yeah, and he does it. It is really smart too. Just at the edge of the hitbox of the crab, so he changes to Hybrid. It does mean that Hylissang has practiced this pick.
I like that. Right as it hits, he starts to back. Of course,
like that, yeah.
Trying to make it out.
Just click it.
Hylissang spending a lot of time in the base, but no better than to chase the bar through that portal. But while all this action is happening,
can he base portal though? That's the next part where we have to judge.
This is the
and how long is it going to be?
Casting with. Crub is literally just watching Hylissang right now on his personal monitor. He's like, can he get the base portal?
Well, it's a quick base portal too, because sometimes you spend so much time trying to get that portal along the wall that you could have walked the distance, but you refuse to give up.
You don't want to look like a fool. You don't want to lose to that.
Well, that's too late for that one.
Moving in. Exile starting to do a lot more damage here in these trades. XpeKe hitting back, but an unfortunate circumstance. Double daggers not really making a whole lot of additional AP coming in. And Exile, once he grabs his blue buff, he's going to have a pretty easy time kind of bullying XpeKe out.
A bit of a shift here in builds too from Veritas, going for both BF and pickaxe. Not shifting BF into Hurricane, what we usually see from Caitlyn's. They either go pickaxe Hurricane if they're behind, or they go BF into Hurricane. Infernal Drake being started here by Move.
All this time with Cloud Drakes, I forgot that we could even see these.
What are these mythical creatures?
I've never. Why is it red? Why is the dragon red? Oh, Exile. Doing a decent amount of damage there in the mid lane. Dragon will, of course, eventually fall, giving UOL that additional percentage AD and AP. Something they're very happy to have with the Caitlyn and LeBlanc on their team. I'll have to check what the next spawn is going to be, but of course...
Don't spoil it. Let's just let the magic happen.
Let the magic happen. Veritas doing a lot of damage. Hybrid not even level 6. Forgiven takes this as a window to get aggressive here, though. He's going to come out on top of that trade individually, but Hybrid really forced out here.
Yeah, good river control here by Unicorns. No more wards by Origen. Origen had some really good pink wards in their jungle initially, but they've been forced to move them backwards a couple of brushes every time due to the unrelenting pressure here from the Unicorns. Similar story to last game. Unicorns need to keep making these picks here. Exile going in for another dash combo. XpeKe playing on the back foot. Not being able to return any damage really, because he never sees Exile coming. Really good usage of that pink ward on his right now.
Yep, doing very well overall, but Move now making his way down to the bottom lane. You can see this slow choke out here in terms of vision as UOL just continue to take control of the bottom side.
And he takes a safe path back to mid lane. Yes, he loses 4 seconds, but if you saw, Amazing and Hybrid were lurking around the corner, ready to dash over, get some combos off. So Move really using the vision that he has to safely maneuver and then take away more. He's not getting greedy at all because he hasn't seen Amazing.
QRE looking for the double proc, looking for those chains, landing them most of the time. Not going to find that one in the end. Move just continues to bully out here though, just consistently walking to that jungle, maybe not taking camps, but always laying down the vision. And there's just so much control on the bottom side. SoaZ though, I always get excited when I see the twisted advance, and then I do. I'm always like, oh, this is it. They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight to the death, and then
Sweet
walks away.
Summer Child. Oh, Move with the respect flash here. Hybrid's combo was already down because he tried to go for WQ. Obviously, once the repel comes up, you get stuck in the muscle memory. And you fiercely hit the ground. That's about it.
Exile trying to stay in tower range just long enough to proc the chains. Isn't going to get it in the end. But you can see a giant shift in pressure. OG set their sights on the top lane. Veritas left uncontested as he starts to burn this tower down.
It's a good swap from Origen. Yes, they open up the map. They make the lanes longer, which is bad for their composition. But they were getting choked out of vision. And eventually, they would have lost control of the map. So it's better to go short-term equal trade against this composition and take the problems later where the map is open. They can still make picks of their own, especially if they leave some lingering wards in this jungle. They can send SoaZ for a TP flank later on. XpeKe gets a shield,
nice
really big.
Sidestep, dodges behind the minion as well. Exile very close to finding the solo kill. XpeKe making moves to keep himself safe though. And now OG just grouping up around the mid lane. They want to keep this train rolling. They want to just keep burning down these towers.
Yeah, if they can group unpunished in terms of side lane pushes, it's very hard or nearly impossible for LeBlanc to clear these waves. She has to go in head first. Mana too.
OG just going to back off in the end, however. Amazing, doing what he can to regain control of the bottom side. Gold continues to be in the favor of Unicorns of Love. 2K in the lead at 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Built from those kills, built from those early aggressive moves, but not finding any greater advantages quite yet. Just a game of vision and pressure at the moment.
Yeah, moving up the ward line one by one. This is also the strength of this Bard, at least. They find anything cocooning to stun, and if they get spotted, they can always portal out. They don't have to burn their flashes when they get caught in the jungle. That makes it one of the reasons why Bard is so highly contested too, because your aggressive vision game is a lot easier. You can take more risks because you always have a magical journey, and nobody...
It's like chasing a cinch. There's just never a reason to go through.
It.
Guaranteed to get stunned up. Sometimes I get greedy and either Bard stuns you or there's people waiting on the other side, and either way it's not. You're not killing the Bard.
Yeah, definitely not pretty then. Because you can actually just throw it into the wall. People have this notion that he has to cast it once you get out of the portal. But
fight here. XpeKe going forward is going to get locked up for a brief second. Now the Tempered Fate.
Q is still down for Hylissang, I think. Yeah.
Hybrid moves forward. Flash trying to get it onto Veritas. Exhaust coming in as well. SoaZ moves in. 80 carry. No hope. OG make the pick. Now moving in mid.
So that would have been a good ultimate if Unicorns still had their cooldowns, but they used QQ and they used the bar Q very early. And if you cast ulti right after you miss, you will never have it up again. So there was no follow-up, but nobody knew that. They all assumed that somebody would have some CC here in this comp. And then obviously Origen realized it and they go in aggressive.
UOL not going to give up the mid lane tower, however. Still have the necessary power to clear out these waves. XpeKe, though, happy to have the reprieve in the mid lane. Move getting what he can in the meantime, but the gold still very much in the Unicorns of Love favor. But the fight coming out in favor of OG, just better execution individually there.
Yeah, we have to still remember, if it comes to raw team fighting ability, Origen can be down 2,000 gold and their composition is fine. Like, they can operate under a gold deficit and still come out equal in team fighting for us. It's just the rest of the game where it is side lane pressure, the vision game, resistance against picks, that's their weakness.
Of course, move, exile, Veritas, a little bit better this time around. Veritas still struggling. Hasn't shown us anything quite yet, but this is sort of what we expect from the Caitlyn pick.
Yeah, and once he finishes that rune ounce, he can be put in the mid lane on wave clear duty, and it allows Exile to play on the side lane. And this is where the short-term investment from Origen kind of swapping in the map comes to bite him, because now LeBlanc has a long lane. She can pressure it in and then disappear. And with very little vision these days available to support jungle, as opposed to the double sidestone meta, it is actually a lot more feasible for these assassins to make picks in the jungle. You can't just ward everything. So you need to operate with less wards, and since pink wards are cheaper now too, your teammates are actually buying them, so aggressive vision denial is more of an option.
Yeah, definitely something that you are potentially looking to do. LeBlanc hiding the brush. They actually know she's there. It was pinged out by Amazing. Maybe looking to make the collapse, but Exile just going to hop away. Chachi getting aggressive. The stun comes out. They're going to chain it together. There's no hope here. CC stacked. XpeKe goes down. UOL push in mid.
Flashes into the edge of the turret right there. Follow-up flash Q from Hylissang.
Oh,
sets up for the tower Q.
Hybrid ready to re-engage if necessary. Not going to find the stun from Chachi. Exile on the flank. Maybe they look for something, but the tower already drops. Gold lead extends for Unicorns of Loves. Up 4K now.
Back to the bottom lane. Just keep the team spread out. Don't want to let them group for free. Don't take them head on. Push inside lanes. Vision in between, hopefully. That's Unicorn's bread and butter. They're really understanding this composition, though. Talking to the owner right before the game, as we alluded to in game 1, they needed time, but it seems that they practice these type of compositions at least a fair amount, or it just seems to be natural for some of these players. Comfort picks.
And we talk about Hylissang too, as a well-known playmaker on this Bard, roaming around the map, looking for these stuns. Seems to be very good for him and move. I mean, praised for his vision-focused jungling. Much more comfortable choking out the vision here on an Elise, and 3-0-1, a fantastic scoreline for him as he looks to finish that Rally's second.
Yeah, and they can rinse and repeat this process. They're still on the nice timeline, kind of the curve you have to play on when you're this comp. Your towers have to be down like by 18-19 minutes. XpeKe right here, this is the unfortunate flash here. Slightly angled wrong into the turret, still gets caught on the parallel conversion, and it's an easy follow-up here. No hesitation on the side of Unicorns either. And as long as you get these towers down, if you're Unicorns, these outers at least, pre-20, you then have enough distance that you can push the minions in for to deny enough vision for the Baron. That gives you an easy setup. All you need to do then is synergize, your sweeps, move your pink wards, and you can start punishing, especially against Magical Journey. Like, there's more opportunity combined with Journey and Tempered Fate for picks, as opposed to the conventional, okay, they walk into the choke, let's kill them.
Yep.
You have way more pick opportunities from different angles, and it's very hard to play against if you're Origen.
And we already talked about how dangerous losing sight of this team can be. Elise setting up those picks, LeBlanc with so much raw damage. You really can't afford to wander into unknown territory. OG doing the best they can to recoup some of the vision loss here, but UOL definitely own the top side of the map.
The one caveat, obviously, is that there's nobody that can truly tank Baron this early in the game. Obviously hasn't spawned yet. You know, we wait 15 seconds. But
getting ahead of ourselves just a bit.
If Move needs to tank this Baron, he's still pretty AP oriented. So he doesn't do it that well, especially with doing Geckos. He gets some spellbound from the W, but if the Unicorns commit, they need to be quick, and then they risk getting collapsed.
Oh, XpeKe, Exile, happy to just flash over that wall and find the kill. Makes it out with an inch of his life. Unicorns of Love, the fighting continues. Oh, amazing. Is the hop going to let him go over the wall? No, Flash going to be burned out in the end.
Yeah. Slightly poorly timed Q from Hylissang, but good reaction there. You can't get hit by the Tempered Fate if you're in Repel. Obviously, when he comes down, he's then fine. So they're helping each other here. But Exile, he looks like a different player today. Yesterday, he was getting all in constantly. Get back to that later, though. SoaZ going in.
Veritas getting aggressive here, still alive on the back line. SoaZ slowly burning down. He hits that low health point. Exile says, I'll take another one. Chain comes out. Hybrid. Lamb's Respite going to be just that, a brief break before the kills start to come in here in favor of Unicorns of Love. Chachi gives his life. Forgiven grabs one, but the tower is next on the list, and Unicorns of Love look unstoppable.
Yeah, unstoppable in synergy. This guy, that guy, target selection on point. Exile, completely different player compared to yesterday. Really driving home again in this game too. He completely outplayed XpeKe there. Knew the ultimate was coming. I think flashed over it because you can't dash to it, and then went for the play on XpeKe.
And I was really critical of him yesterday for making what I thought were over-aggressive plays, overstepping, missing the Emperor's Divide, trying to get those Shurima shuffles. But today on this LeBlanc, that same level of aggressive play is working so well. And when he gets these comfort picks, you're right, completely different player. You can see exactly why the Unicorns decided to pick this guy up.
Yeah, and it has to be frustrating right now too for Forgiven. Hitting a really big spike in his build. You're almost into Black Cleaver, but no room to kind of deal damage. These fights are over before they start. Somebody's always picked off, always uneven numbers or uneven vision.
Yeah, and you can see it too as the vision game continues. Unicorns of Love don't have a whole lot on the map right now, but OG forced to use everything in their own jungle. A solitary ward in the river as SoaZ tries to clear out this pink, the only site that they have.
Yeah, Origen need to fight up in the open too, because if you look at how they can shut off these chokeholds, Origen, little cheeky bait here. Ward is placed in the Baron pit though, so Unicorns need to put on their best acting hat, act as if they have no vision, and just take control of the map here. Mid lane exposed, baits failed. This is
Ekko's bottom lane too.
This is desperation attempts here from Origen.
SoaZ finally returning there, does have the TP as this Chachi.
Oh, amazing above them.
Not going to happen. Magical Journey comes out as well. The Wolf Spirit still giving sight of the members of Unicorns of Love.
Right, push in, vision denial, and then they just start layering traps in these choke points. Cutting off the axis, kind of hurting the cattle. It's like, yep, this way, guys. Come on in.
Only one way you can go.
Leading them to the slaughter. Taking their precious points.
Of course, OG absolutely do not want to drop here. 1 point in week 1 may not be the best, but dropping to 0 in the first week could be very crushing.
It is still better in this format to go 0-2 and 2-0 right after. That nets you 3 points as opposed to 1 point twice. So your overall game record, hang on, XpeKe.
Oh, Chachi, a little bit of moment there. They're not going to find the stun. The chain CC move, perfect timing.
Perfect timing, but there was a trap too. So.
Okay, I missed the trap. I was like, I missed that timing, and I play Bard all the time.
Yep,
it just comes
call
together.
me Hype Killer, but yeah, on the Tempered Fate, this is one of the, so many interactions that we also alluded to in game 1. Any CC is so easy to follow up on another. You have Cocoon into stun, you have Tempered Fate into either Cocoon or Trap, Trap into whatever, like Parallel Convergence in the midst of that, whether it's zoning or combo. They have so many options right now. And they're looking to stop Origen from contesting this Baron.
Amazing, he made the hero play yesterday. Can he do it again? Moving forward, Baron, 2k health dropping. Unicorns of Love turn their attention elsewhere. The quick pick up onto SoaZ.
Amazing.
Baron's still alive. Move taking a lot of damage. Don't think he's going to drop here. Amazing stunned up over the wall. Health bar dropping. Hybrid Forgiven getting aggressive. He wants to use that power spike you talked about. Amazing. Just wants to get the Baron. Lamb's Respite dropping. Time is running out. Unicorns of Love, they don't want to hit the purple worm. They'll pick up. Amazing. They'll pick up the Baron. That was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful communication here. You see so many teams panic when a jungler approaches, like rush it down, rush it down, rush it down. They say, you know what? Don't rush it down. Take out the members one by one. And then give Amazing a big, big hug. He needs it when he puts his ultimate down. Everybody gets more health. Kill him and take Baron out.
And this is an insane turnaround in the quality performance coming in from the Unicorns of Love. Today we looked at the stats lines from yesterday. We're like, these are the worst mid-jungle stats we've seen in a long time. Today, legendary LeBlanc game 1, 4-1-4 game 2, 5-0-3.
Yeah, and it also puts like Schalke in perspective, because we were saying, you know, is Gilius' tweets finally being backed up by real gameplay? It's like, nah, it was just the Unicorns. But just the Unicorns have now completely dismantled Origen. But perhaps we have to phrase it differently. Have they just beaten just Origen?
Oh, moving forward, Hylissang, that was not
just
at
trolling.
all what you wanted.
That's
it was just a prank.
just a social experiment.
Just wanted to test part of Bard's kit.
Hey man, just a prank, bro. Miss my cue, see what you do.
I like that. Good run. Solid. Moving in, of course, the Unicorns of Love, happy to have their third dragon.
I mean, it's great that I get to see that, what happens, what people do when you miss your Bard cue.
Yeah.
Never happens to me.
Yeah. Wow. You can't fly on stream, Greppo.
There's video footage of that. I like this juke from Amazing top right, so he knows the cue's coming, but SoaZ is melted because there's only one access point here in between the traps. Forgiven's also out of mana right now, and look, they just target people down, move, gets out, they let the Baron do their, like, help them. Forgiving can't enter the fight. Everybody goes to hug Amazing here for the help off the ultimate, and then Baron goes down. Very clean and well executed Baron play by the Unicorns.
Yeah, incredible confidence, as you mentioned, not panicking whatsoever, as so many younger teams often do. At the end of the day, we saw Forgiven. I mean, he's so scared of that LeBlanc that the second LeBlanc runs forward, he has to dash flash out of that area. He cannot afford to be anywhere near her, and with no mana, he can't afford to put out, or he doesn't put out any damage either.
Yeah, OG looking for a hand to play here into the trips from Unicorns. One of each. Technically not trips then.
Yeah.
The
three
dragon.
of a kind.
Yeah, it's not the kind.
I know.
It's the poker of dragons. Sadly, that's as far as we go. Maybe with the Elder, you can get 4.
Do we call it the royal flush if you get the Elder? I think it has to be. It's not really a flush. It's not really equatable to poker. We only have 3 types. We can get 3 of a kind. That's like the most we can hope for.
And then when we do, we rank them in power. Cloud being the first, of course. Everybody loves their Cloud rakes.
Reminds them of better days. It's a whimsical dragon. Of course, Exile just really taking his time here. Cannon minion finally going to drop there in the end.
Every Cloud Drake has their silver lining though, because if you can get like 3 Cloud Drakes, it means you're in control of the game. And you also opted to take down 3 Cloud Drakes, so you opted to waste your time. That means you must be up a lot of gold.
Yeah.
You actually have time to, you know, instead of farming jungle, actually kill a Cloud Drake. It's an indicator that you're snowballing the game.
Well. Of course, inhibitor going to drop. This is the point where games really start to break up and the pressure really starts to fall on OG. We haven't looked at the gold in a long time, but that is 54,000 to 41.7. Unicorns of Love, after getting dominated yesterday, are coming back today and they're making a statement. And for OG, this has to hurt.
Yeah, just a couple more kills closing into a 15,000 gold lead here. The Unicorns. Yeah, complete snowball.
Of course. Moving forward. Nice. Now jumping in here. Chachi continuing to move in, look for more pressure, split pressure across the map as the super minions start to push in on the bottom side of the map. And OG, what do they do here? The gold lead is massive.
I mean, you wait for a mistake. So if you look at what the play here for both these teams is, Unicorn is more of what you're doing. Obviously, as you push in with these split pushes into the base, Origen, they get condensed. So the distance between the lanes reduces. So they can travel a lot quicker, you know, from bottom mid to top, etc. So you have to be a little bit more careful. Also, you no longer have deep vision because you can't get wards into the base. So that makes the push a little bit harder. Also, you need to kind of, the Fisher kind of calls it holding hands as you push in. Every wave needs to kind of hit at the same time. So then when people react, you can win these skirmishes in even numbers, 3v3, 2v2, and you look for the Bard ulti. People always hug their tower, so a Bard ulti on the tower right here is a triple stun that you can build in. Obviously, Origen, they want to be grouped too. They want to go for these team fights, but it's so hard for them to make a move. All these traps, defensive options here. Hylissang can portal out. Look how he's always playing near a wall. Exhaust is ready too. It's so hard for Origen to break out here. Unicorns going into a 4-1. They want their tank next to their Caitlyn for peel. And then LeBlanc was just looking to flank here on Forgiven. And so Forgive is right now playing to the bottom side. And at least top side exposed, for example. So many options here.
Chachi getting aggressive here, tanking up the tower. Will just hop out of that headbutt. No pulverize burn from Hybrid in the end. But amazing, taking a lot of damage as well. Veritas hitting hard from the back line. Chachi getting aggressive. LeBlanc not going to follow through. Tempered Fate does drop, maybe looking for the fight, but the CC's been split up. Hybrid looking to make this happen. 3-man headbutt pulled. Chachi will he drop, amazing so low, but staying in the Rams. Respite, jump forward from move. He's gonna grab one. Moving forward, there's just not enough power on the side of OG. Unicorns of Love grab 3 kills in an instant. They're ready to end the game. XpeKe trades one back, but what is it worth?
Yeah, XpeKe managed to stall a little bit here. One inhib falls though. That's the second inhib down here for the Unicorns. That was the perfect counter engage on even gold. That would have been it here. Vizicsacsi based, Exile based rather. He's coming in with the teleport. Now Chachi's coming back to 1 TP, 2 TP. Exile low.
No, he may have stayed too long. He has to flash to safety, but Chachi's still so strong. 16 stacks on the Magi Soul Stealer. Forgiven though is not afraid. He's just gonna dash forward, but one inhibitor left, one Nexus tower. Yeah, all that stands in the way of Unicorns of Love ending this game.
And that's it for Origen. 2 open inhibitors. Unicorns have already showed that they can take patient control of the map, move up the minion waves, the ward lines slowly but surely, and then isolate these objectives, take them down. Right now, with 2 pushing lanes for free with these inhibitors down, it is even easier for them. Only Hubris can take down the Unicorns at this point.
Not a team we expected to do as well, but they are pulling it out. As you look at this replay, you can see how well coordinated this is.
Yeah, Tempered Fate splits up the fight. This is really good reaction here because all the damage is going on the main tank. It's a team fight. There's a 3-man pulverize. XpeKe managed to scoop in. Amazing. Draws the aggro too from move. So technically this is a really good fight for Origen. They just are too far behind to even win a fight with this setup.
And this Baron that you can see in the picture-in-picture finally dropping. Probably going to be the death sentence for OG here. We're waiting. If Unicorns of Love play this out, there's not a whole lot of hope left.
Yeah, Guillotine is ready here. Some heads will roll. We need to look forward now. What is Origen going to do? They've drafted compositions that are very teamfight oriented, or at least require everybody to be in the same place on the map, it seems. Very heavy teamfight comp here, where everybody wants to group up. No 1-3-1 split push. Some of their former strengths. Back in the day, even when XpeKe played, he was good at it. SoaZ can play that style too. But they don't manage to really group up efficiently because they're getting pressured all over the map and picked off. Same yesterday when they played versus G2 Esports. Their composition relied around grouping on a turret.
And Tempered Fate, this could be the last play. XpeKe locked up, Lamb's Respite, a brief break for the team. He's running to safety, but Chachi on the front line is relentless. Snap back, looking to grab the kill onto Hybrid. SoaZ potentially next as the members descend upon this one. Unicorns of Love absolutely destroying Origen in one final fight. A kill traded back. They can't be stopped. This tower is going to drop. Unicorns of Love, a stellar performance, moving up 2-0 against Origen. Have to be proud of that game.